For stimulation to continue and not die out in two parties exchanging opinions, the other's foundation of what makes them happy, aka what is truth to them, must be pierced through with your consistent opinion, which is relevant to their happiness, over and over again, always relating, always relevant from the most basic approach. You must foundationalize a point you're making, then continue. Like climbing a mountain and resting every new peak to build a village. Keep your approach similar to their happiness, always letting enough room for their curiosity of the unknown happiness, in your opinion, to be explored for by themselves. Within them, you must comfort every anxiety or unsure thought of your opinion with not a reliable truth, but a reliable happiness, not yet known that they are willing to explore and rally for. Much why atheism or political science is the only modern philosophy talked about today, as it's backed by die-hard young adult fans. Atheism can never be better than its opposition, which it is the opposite of. Like all side oppositions, dependent upon the fighting in itself. Exactly why I don't stand for it as a group community, not necessarily an individual's belief with no outside ties. Like how a parody can never be bigger than what it's parodying. Fame, whether good or bad, is still popularizing by making it our ever surroundings. Like gay bashing on the news, or police brutality. I'm not saying don't publicize it and keep it in the dark, but grow normality tolerance against it. It'll then be seen as worthless to attention and die off. This being the same reason I don't watch the news. The will of why to debate, as most are utterly selfish, is the importance of sharing opinion, not necessarily what the specific opinion is in the first place. You're here, I'm here, we know we're not going to change your minds, nor the audience's. So what is the point of it all? The point is, all morals are based on a foundation. This foundation is happiness. Happiness foundation, I'll say. Now, I'm speaking of happiness as you. You equaling what makes you happy. Literally, you are that. Just go with that crazy notion for right now. Therefore, the formula for changing someone's mind about a conscience or otherwise any moral is replacing the foundation happiness with a new, greater happiness. This explains a lot of restrictions on people's identity, belief comforts, selfish needs, whatever. What's funny is we already know this and what to do. The hard part is acting on our words, applying to look through the eyes of others during an opinion, empathy, and adding your own opinion within that so to appear safer and approaching for others. Like I said, it's the will of debating, not winning or losing, but what comes out of it. Let's talk about the value in what seems like vain fights, when two people with unfocused, scattered, yet extremely believed in ideas talk to each other, even though their ideas are completely different. I have my friend going through gender identity, and my other friend walking up to him and explaining, "This is okay, God and Jesus is with you," involving religion. Then me, I see this on the sidelines and watch how messy and mixed up this is getting, and yet can't get involved to help either one because they're so passionate. I'd look like I'm the bad guy here. But what I'm saying is not that those two friends of mine are doing a bad thing by intercommunicating their confused ideas, brought on by psychological problems, blah blah blah, whatever they have, their reasonings. What I'm saying is this is all the world's ideas, and that this fucked up view is normality. It's the only way we learn, and yet it's ignored all the time unless justified by a comforting system. Let them be. A philosopher would say, however you defend a point, however big a majority behind an idea or system, it is always completely absurd. This only gets more messier when you calling it absurd is absurd, and so on, which it is. I was in a situation myself some years ago where my girlfriend was screaming at me because she thought I was cheating on her, pushing me from hugging her and comforting her. Yet at the same time, I could not leave the room because she was screaming at me leaving would prove her point. This analogy I use for life. In between is all we have. Though yes, we can't help but view things in black and white to what appears consistently true to us. It is how we evolve, by trusting things are what they are. One basketball, a singularity of that being one basketball. Though the only meaning with the basketball is, say, playing with the basketball. Something not singular, but a process. Therefore, a constant struggle, which is the meaning of life. Yes, there I said it. The meaning of life is in a process, a somewhat confusion. The process between happiness and what appears negativity. We gotta risk for things somewhat unknown to find happiness in them. As I said, foundation happiness becoming greater happiness, and so on in the cycle.